The type of food you get your protein from can be important for cardiometabolic health. But more about that later. I will first tell you some basics about dietary protein. We need protein for the growth and maintenance of our bones, muscles and skin, and for many more functions in the body. The building blocks of proteins are amino acids. The human diet includes 20 different amino acids. Almost half are essential, and that means that your body cannot make them itself. You need to get them from your food. Proteins that are easy digestible and that contain many essential amino acids are considered of better quality. In general, protein quality is higher for animal than plant protein. Animal protein sources are meat, dairy, fish and eggs. Plant protein sources are grains, legumes, nuts and vegetables. Plant proteins are also named green proteins because their production is less of a burden to the environment. In most Western diets, the ratio of animal to plant protein is around 60 to 40. For sustainability and health, a ratio of 40 to 60 would be better. In general, increasing the intake of dietary protein and decreasing the intake of carbohydrates, especially sugars, has beneficial effects on blood pressure, blood lipids and insulin resistance. But normally we don't eat just proteins. Protein isolates do taste awful, by the way. So therefore I will switch to protein foods, which of course do contain more nutrients than just protein. As I said, meat is the source of animal protein. Many people like meat on their plate. This is often red meat from mammals, such as beef, pork and sheep. But it can also be white meat from poultry and rabbit. Red and white meat are often processed to add taste and to extend shelf life. Processed meat can contain substantial amounts of added salt, nitrates and nitrates and even sugars. Examples are ham, bacon and sausages. Most processed meat is red meat. Eating too much red and processed meat increases the risk of cardiometabolic diseases. This may be due to saturated fat in meat, added salt or other components. More recently, a new hypothesis was raised. Meat contains L-carnitine that is digested by gut bacteria, which produces a substance called TMAO in your blood, and that may promote arteriosclerosis. In prospective cohort studies, a daily intake of around 100 grams of unprocessed red meat was associated with a 10% higher risk of stroke and a 15% higher risk of type 2 diabetes. Risk of coronary heart disease and chronic kidney disease was also increased. For processed meat, these adverse associations were even stronger. Meat may also put you at a higher risk of certain cancers. Because of all these risks, it's better not to eat more than 500 grams of meat per week and to replace part of red meat by white meat. When cutting down on meat intake, it is important to monitor the intake and absorption of certain nutrients that are often derived from meat. You can think of iron, zinc, the B vitamins and essential amino acids such as methionine and lysine. Dairy products are also an important source of animal protein, mainly casein. They are also rich in calcium. Prospective cohort studies suggest that dairy consumption may give some protection against stroke and chronic kidney disease, but not coronary heart disease. There is also fermented dairy, such as cheese and yogurt. Interestingly, several recent studies showed a lower risk of type 2 diabetes with yogurt consumption. It's not yet clear why, but some hypotheses focus on the effect of the yogurt bacteria on the gut microbiota. Eggs are generally not counted as dairy, but we should not forget this valuable source of high-quality protein. 50 years ago, people were advised not to eat more than 3 eggs per week, because eggs are rich in cholesterol and that would cause heart disease. but more recent studies have shown that eating an egg a day is unlikely to increase your cardiometabolic risk. And what about fish? Fish is a source of animal protein. It's a good alternative to meat. A small amount of fish, of around 15 grams per day, or only one fish meal per week, is already associated with a 15% lower risk of mortality from coronary heart disease. Fish may also offer some protection against stroke. Fatty fish, such as salmon, is rich in long-chain omega-3 fatty acids that could have beneficial effects in the cardiovascular system, including the prevention of cardiac arrhythmias. Whether fish intake protects against diabetes is less clear, but there may be some benefit from eating oily fish. Last but not least, what about protein from plant foods? Sources like whole grains, vegetables, nuts and legumes. They are rich in fiber, vitamins and other compounds that could improve your cardiometabolic health. When focusing specifically on the plant's protein, there's no convincing evidence that's better for cardiometabolic health than protein from animal sources. There have been trials in which replacement of milk protein with soy protein lowered your blood LDL cholesterol level. But that effect may not be caused by the protein itself, but by other soybean compounds, for example fiber, or a group of phytochemicals called isoflavones. To wrap up, eating less processed and red meat will benefit your health and the environment. Good alternative protein sources are, for example, fish, dairy, soybean and nuts. Or you could choose to eat this chicken and its eggs.